Sexy Mike.
Good morning, welcome, hello, thank you for joining us once again. This is the first version of the 2016 season. This is your Speaker's Corner. We are the three corners of this Speaker's Corner this week. We have individuals from across this country, these wonderful individuals. Let me go ahead and introduce them to you, but I will first tell you who I am. My name is Jeff Wheeler. I am under the shaded shadow of a foggy Gold Dome here in the downtown of the Atlanta, Georgia, between the Gold Dome and our brand new Georgia Dome the other direction. Again, my name is Jeff Wheeler. You can reach me on the Twitters at Delegator. But I will reach to my next co-host, which is up in the city of cities, Great Gotham. Let me say good morning to Tom Holmes. Say good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Jeff.
Oh, are we going to do Vocal Fry?
Oh, I know. I just thought it was, you said Gotham, and so I had to be like, I swore to protect this city.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Swear to me.
Nicely done. And then let me bring in the third quarter that is playing on an alternate account. I'll go ahead and say good morning to Michelle.
Good morning to my illustrious friends on our show this morning.
Oh, she brought in the keyword. Everybody should look for that word and find out what it is. Bing!
If you're playing at home, the secret word is illustrious. And when you hear it, you have to go, ah! Maybe not.
Yes, and then wives and husbands all over the place are saying, what are you listening to? Ah! Is that a roller coaster game? I don't know. So speaking of a roller coaster, this week there was a very big deal on all of the social medias, and it was Powerball. Apparently there was a large sum ready to go for Powerball, and I want to know if anybody here bought Powerball tickets or had any dreams for what the Powerball was going to bring?
Yes. Both.
Okay. Please share.
I bought a ticket on, I should say 2 tickets on Wednesday because I'd cashed in. I'd had like a scratch-off ticket that I'd never cashed in, so I used that to buy 2 tickets. And then when that didn't work out, I also participated in an office pool on Friday, which obviously didn't work out because no one won. So, so I did participate, even though I know, as someone who understands math. It, wasn't my grandfather used to say, or the classic adage, the lottery is a tax on people who are bad at math. Mm-hmm. So I know it's stupid, but there's still that kind of the hope in a dream. Hope, a dream, and a dollar.
Although that's the point.
What? I'm sorry. I just wanted to understand, when you say that you grouped in together, is it like everybody gives cents for the dollar, or
we put in, I think we all dropped in a 20 spot.
Okay, so everyone gets essentially 20, but you're buying them all together. So,
correct.
Okay.
You are sharing a pot of, I think it went up to $400. So I think.
Do the odds change at all by doing that?
Not really.
Okay.
Instead of the odds of 1 in 292 million, it's 200 in 292 million.
So really 1 in a million. You've moved down to 1 in a million.
Yes.
That you'll win something. All right, so, and that was my point that I was going to go to next, is that it went over $900 million. And at over $900 million, all of a sudden the math works out, and it's no longer a tax on stupid people.
Oh, no.
Right? So there is a statistical chance that you'll actually make money.
If you're a single winner, but now I think you're going to have more people invested, so the chances of more than one winner.
If there's a single winner, you'll definitely. But I think that they said that the number of people that played versus the number of chances that were there, you had a statistical chance of winning. Statistically speaking, if you played that every single week, you would make money. If the pot was at that level and you were there and you put in money every single time, then you would win.
You would come out ahead.
Right, which is not good for the lottery, because then you'll get investors just putting in $250 million every time to buy out every option,
I think the returns on that, but the returns on putting in $250 million, no, I don't think you're going to see people doing that.
That's right. No, I don't think. But if it stayed that way, you would see.
If it stayed that way,
right?
Because now it's what is it going to be? $1.3 billion, billion with a B.
Oh, so it wasn't one last night?
It was not one last night. So now it goes up to at least 1.3.
Mark my words, here on this podcast, you will see investors buying up every physical possible combination. Or attempting to.
But that's only gonna like make a return if they're a single winner. But I think the way that it works is that okay. So if I spent $200 million,
there are better odds.
But let's see. There's a $1.3 billion payout, right?
Yes.
And I put in another $200 million into it. That payout's going to move up some, so it's $1.4 billion. Mm-hmm. You're going to get some of that goes into the pot, right? And yeah, so there's 2 winners, 3 winners. You're still going to probably walk home with $500 million.
No, you got to think about after taxes. What are your it's no. That's still a fool's bet. This is the equivalent of betting on black or red.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 chance, but the reality is it's also, the coin can land tails side up.
When you get over with the overhead cost and all that kind of stuff, you're really not that ahead.
It's better to put it in a CD or something. Well, not a CD right now. Wasn't it last week we were saying like if Donald Trump had taken all the money that he had inherited from his father and just put it in the
S&P 500, he'd have 3 times more money than he does now.
Yeah. So businessmen of America, invest in jobs, not in lottery tickets.
I bet you Trump's going to get a ticket.
I think he is going to end up with a ticket.
He is a ticket.
But
I don't know what that means, but
there's a new report out that states that 20% of Trump supporters are Democrat trolls, are people who are Dems and are unhappy with the way the Dems are running.
Who said that?
It was on redstate.com.
I don't know what that is.
Red State's another.
And do they mean the people that are attending his places, his what do they call that? The speeches on the campaign?
Yeah, well, it's actually both people who are giving him money and people who are supporting him and doing support things that you do for a political candidate.
Democratic trolls.
The point, I think, the point is that those people, and the term that they used was not trolls. The term they used was disaffected Democrats.
Yeah, right? That's one angle.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on this. No,
all right. But the point being that if that happens, then you got a bunch of people who are really trying to get Trump in because it's easier for their Democratic candidate to win.
That is conspiracy theory level thinking on the highest order of.
Yes,
there's a mass conspiracy of Democrats who have secretly, and no one's leaked. This is,
No, I'm reading an article. It's leaked on the internet. You just have to read the right parts of the internet.
Yeah, I scrolled through the source you listed, and I immediately closed it.
So there are a lot of Trump. I read an article that Trump is requiring people to make a pledge to him before they enter into his rally.
Right.
Oh, really?
Right. So
to minimize the number of trolls.
To minimize the interruptions is what his scenario, what he's going for. But and it doesn't seem to be working. There are still people that are there, whatever side they're from.
Right.
What you're saying, I think, is a population of a population of a population.
That's right.
And yeah, they do exist, and yeah, it's an angle, and yeah, it's a story, but I don't think
it's negligible in the numbers. I think it is negligible in the numbers, and that really, whenever you take the crowd, there's so few that I don't think that that's going to be the issue.
Now, here's something.
Okay.
Unless there's something else you guys wanted, unless I'm missing something I didn't want to talk about.
MoveOn.org.
Awesome. So I have Michelle's worst possible scenario coming up now.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so let's just say, and as I've been reading, Bernie's like, I would love to fight against Trump, and Trump's like, yeah, I'll get fucking Bernie Sanders. And it feels like we're edging up for this battle royale.
Okay.
So let's say it happens. Let's say we're we've got tickets for Trump and we've got tickets for Bernie Sanders. And God forbid, in my worst possible case scenario, let's say Bernie Sanders is assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
First question: do we know if anyone has been assassinated while campaigning, like a major candidate?
Robert F. Kennedy.
Oh, he was campaigning, wasn't he?
Robert F. Kennedy was on the eve. He was about to win California. He was basically far ahead in the Democratic primary when he was gunned down.
Wow.
And so if history, in that case of history, I'm not familiar. I should know because that's pretty soon, or that's close enough to my life. Who did it end up swaying it?
Oh yeah, well Nixon ended up winning. I mean, because this was 68, the 68 election. So I think then it ended up being Humphrey. Did Humphrey help me out, Google?
Okay, all right, sorry. So there was a secondary candidate, you're saying, that didn't go wasn't as popular as Robert Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bobby Kennedy. Yeah.
Bobby Kennedy. And they just stepped in. So that possibly, let's say, if we put this to our time period, that would be a Hillary steps in. But
Hillary's kind of a front runner. I mean, she's the political establishment candidate.
Right, but remember, and this is my worst possible case scenario. We had Bernie versus Trump. Bernie is assassinated. Hillary moves in as Hillary versus Trump. Would that can that I feel like more people would jump from Hillary to Trump.
No, I don't think so. I think that's such a weird.
I mean, it's such a leap to go from Hillary to Trump. You're talking about people who were Bernie fans.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. They're not they're so disenfranchised with Hillary that they'll either go to Trump or they will not vote.
No, they would either go to Hillary or they wouldn't vote.
Yeah, you'd get a lot of not votes. You'd get a lot of not votes.
A lot of not votes. So that could still impact.
Yep.
And here's the reality and here's my prediction. And this is regardless of, because I as we've said before, I'll let you do the hypothetical of Bernie. Bernie's not getting the nomination. But we'll continue with the hypothetical of Bernie.
Right.
And let's also go with the hypothetical of Trump. I don't think that's happening either.
But they're both fun. They're fun.
It's fun. But if the hypothetical if Trump were, let's even just go in that situation of, Bernie, Trump, assassination, and then Hillary, Trump, you're still going to have a third-party candidate from the Republican establishment.
Yep.
Oh.
Guarantee you that if Trump somehow gets through, you're going to see them put forward maybe Rubio, maybe not, maybe someone else from the party would step forward and be like, look, no, and try to, with the belief that Trump's true supporters going into the polls are actually such a small portion of the electorate that they could still win as, because they would be a third party candidate that was actually representing the party. So I think you'd see
so then they are going to fizz the Republican Party from within.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just
to create a brokered. That's after the convention.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
That'd be interesting. Thank you for that thought.
And that's what we do here, folks. We create thought experiments. We let you and your mind exercise those muscles that you don't always get a chance to exercise. So you're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome.
We even exercise our brain muscles when we haven't used them in weeks.
That's correct. That is correct.
This thing's soft. Michelle was like trying me. I was like, think, Tom, Stone.
Good job,
so
guys.
thank you for spotting me on the bench, Michelle.
Speaking of brain juice, there's a new brain juice that's coming out. Pepsi is bringing it back. What did they bring it back?
Crystal Pepsi.
Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! The worst marketing idea ever.
What?
That was somehow awesome.
Oh, Crystal Pepsi was a shibizzle.
Shabizzle?
Man, I don't know what that
Did
word
they
was.
did they have to make more effort to make it clear or less effort to make it clear?
So they normally add cola coloring to the cola.
Jeff knows what I'm talking about.
That's right. So you add the color to make it truly brown and like a dark brown like coffee. But really, whenever it starts out, it's like this light tea color. So there is some color to it. So they had to move it to make it actually clear. Because
So
it's kind of
they're already
this
starting in the
disgusting
middle.
piss color.
Fascinating.
How come
Right.
they don't have Crystal Piss? That'd be great.
Oh, God.
Excuse me, Pepsi Piss. Pepsi
Pepsi piss. That would be hilarious.
I'd buy that.
No. I think what we need to do, Tom, is we need to go and buy
energy drink.
We buy Crystal Pepsi and just 2 drops of yellow number 7 and 1 drop of red number 3, right?
Nice.
And then rebottle it as Pepsi piss. And it
Nice.
probably would taste exactly the same.
I'm gonna go get some Crystal Pepsi today because it's been.
Is it out already?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So I could go to the store right now and get me Crystal Pepsi.
I don't know how well and far the distribution has gone, but it is out from what I understand.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if some of these failed ones, not like Crystal Pepsi has failed, but do they still keep the the recipe like under lock and key, and they keep renewing their whatever on it to make sure no one gets it? Because wasn't it
I'm
the
sure.
Ecto Cooler? You now can
Ecto-Cooler's
get
back.
on. What?
Ecto Coolers either back or coming back. I swear. I'm not making this up.
Tom, don't do that to me.
I had a surge the other week.
Oh,
Who remembers
interesting.
Surge?
I do very much. Yes. Boy, I don't. We had way too much sugar and caffeine.
Mass hysteria. This high seas Ecto Cooler coming back in 2016. I think in advance of the new Ghostbusters film. It looks like they might be bringing back
Nice.
Ecto Cooler.
God, I love you, marketing. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was late fall 2015. People were all talking about the word that High Sea was bringing it back.
And these are the things you get to see here.
I know.
Yeah,
not
I
every
would
podcast
not have
is
known
going to
that.
bring you this kind of news.
Yes, we just have varied experiences.
That is true. That is
Now
true.
you're about to bring something to the board that I don't know anything about.
Oh,
Always,
yeah.
Jeff.
The
Yeah.
U.S. Marshals apparently raided one of the CES booths this past week. So, because CES was in Las Vegas. If you're not familiar, CES is the Consumer Electronics Show. It's been running since, I believe, the 60s. And it's always been a place where electronics companies go to show off. It's a tour de force, right? So it is kind of the concept of CES is that it's the World's Fair for electronics. All the cool stuff that you wish everybody made, they'll show their attempts at doing all that stuff, right? So there's a pod that you sleep in while you're typing that was released in '64. That's a really cool picture from way back when, where somebody had earphones over their head and they were in this whole pod and they were ergonomically set up for their typewriter. That was a physical typewriter, et cetera, et cetera. But they always are doing stuff that is bleeding edge. Most of it doesn't end up really happening, but sometimes it does. And this year, one of the manufacturers
Is it open to the public, by the way?
Kind of.
Yeah.
There is a limited number of public seats that are
Okay.
available, but realistically, it's a media event at this point.
Gotcha. It makes sense.
So because really what they're trying to do is promote all their stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, there's all kinds of neat things that came out in CES this year, but because there's always a few really neat things. One of the things that I think is a brilliant idea is imagine, if you will, a connected car driving into a connected house. So now you don't have to pull out the app on your phone and do stuff, but your car actually tells your home what to do. And as we're getting smart cars that can do smart things, you have a device with plenty of energy that never runs out of battery, if you will, that can tell your house what to do, which is kind of a neat thing, right? Any case.
Definitely.
Cool.
Okay, so in any case, the one that made news for me was, if you haven't seen, hoverboards are kind of a thing in 2015. It's basically 2 wheels with a stick in between that twist so that it can turn left or right, and there's effectively, inside of it, there's no fancy electronics. There's 2 switches, one on the front side, one on the back side for each wheel, and the wheel goes faster when you lean forward and slower when you lean back. But they don't have a specific or singular original manufacturer. There wasn't somebody who invented it. It just magically, over about a month, showed up from about 5 different factories in Shenzhen, China. And so then there's all kinds of different manufacturers, and they all make basically the same thing. But there was one specific manufacturer that was showing off their reiteration of it at CES this year. And there was a patent cease and desist order that was placed against them. And I believe it was by Segway. And so that cease and desist order basically got the U.S. Marshals to show up at CES and raid this guy's booth in the middle of the electronics show, which I think is hilarious.
Wow, in the middle of that gave him a lot of press, though.
Yeah. Nobody else would have given a shit. It's just another one of those freaking hoverboards that goes in there.
Stupid marshals.
I know.
Stupid. Executing the law and doing things and
dumb judges who give people judgments.
Yeah, laws. Who needs them? Just like borders, who needs them?
Yeah.
That's right.
Wait, what?
Who?
Wait, huh?
I put this on the docket. I listened to a very interesting on-off again. I'm going to have to track it down and listen to the full piece. Yesterday on NPR was a piece on borders, and it had people going as far as to advocate for just up and removing the whole concept of borders. Basically, pointing out, some of the economic benefits of it, also pointing out that the idea of national borders is not really that old. It's kind of a more modern and new concept. These permanent borders, or these borders are basically acting as walls. Really, it ties into the counterpoint was some people said this was more of a libertarian, anarcho-libertarian sentiment of basically, these artifices of the state, remove them, let it just be kind of local populations controlling how they do things. So I just put it out there. Hey, everyone wants to put up walls. What if we just tore them all down?
If you just had a checkpoint to go through without any restrictions, I might be okay with it. Because what makes a country? Just to dictate who it is that comes in and out.
But that's a border then, right?
You're right. But so what's the benefit of making no borders?
Well, it's a classic. People can you allow workforces can flow to where jobs are and move to where space is, and you have a little bit more natural ebb and flow. You see a lot of problems when you put up even internal borders. Look at China has restrictions on internal movement.
Yeah.
With disastrous economic impacts because people can't move to the cities from the countryside, where the cities are actually where the jobs are, and the countryside is where the poverty is. And even when they do move to the city, they can't legally get apartments or anything. Even though they're needed as a workforce, they can't get all those things like legal apartments or rights, even though they're needed as a laborer.
Right.
Sounds like a country I can't think of that needs the labor, but still, that country's name will come to my mind. So where I'm not joining the anarcho-libertarian idea of just getting rid of nation states, but I just thought it was an interesting thing I hadn't thought of.
And the only way that it works, I think, is that you have some sort of centralized agreement on governing, right?
Do you have to?
Well, the United States works with no borders between states because there is some sort of federal entity that exists. It doesn't necessarily have to be strong, but it needs to have some say-so.
But there are borders between states.
Right, but there is no stopping of anybody between one state to the next. And so I guess that's the concept, is if you maintain nations, but remove borders, or not remove borders, but you remove any restriction to passing through said borders, then you could viably make that happen if there was some central government.
So we just turn it over to Brussels or to Geneva or to
and that's what they attempted
Manhattan.
in Europe. That's what they attempted in Europe, was to United Statesify Europe to a certain extent.
Yeah, but without the problem there was without truly they wanted to federalize. It was federalization in in all but actual application because there is no central. There is a European Parliament. It can't really do dick. Being a European member of Parliament is basically, that's like being on the, as far as I'm concerned, that's like a step above being on the who's who list.
Right.
That you would get the mailer from in high school.
Right.
Oh, we lost Ziggy.
Oh no.
I just realized that. Oh, sadness.
Yeah, I can't really support getting rid of borders because people need a bit of identity.
I just was throwing it out there as
And
as a
really,
weird idea.
how else are we going to pay for all these cool military planes and submarines and that kind of stuff, except for to have a threat of war? And without a threat of war, nobody's going to want to buy that stuff.
Oh, that's gross. But I love it.
How about El Chapo and Sean Penn? What
Dude,
is
have you been following this bizarre ass story?
this? No!
So you're familiar with El Chapo, yes?
No!
El Chapo was the Mexican, the Sinaloa drug cartel head who escaped from prison 6 months ago. It was his second time escaping from prison. The tunnel and the motorcycle underneath his jail cell.
Okay.
So, went through the tunnel. Amazing escape. So he was captured earlier this week.
Joaquin
And-
Guzman.
Thank you. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. Big dude. He self-proclaims as being the largest distributor of heroin, amphetamines, and cocaine to the United States. And who did he say this to in an interview, which helped actually in the capture of him? American actor Sean Penn, who was in Mexico, in the jungles of Mexico this past week, interviewing Guzman for Rolling Stone magazine.
What?
I know, they can't make this up. Apparently,
Oh my God.
El Chapo, also he was captured because apparently he'd been reaching out because he wanted to help finance the movie about him.
Okay.
El
Trying
Chapo wanted
to one-up Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, he wanted to kind of have a little bit more control over. Yeah, he saw how great Narcos was doing on
Right,
Netflix and
right,
figured,
right,
I
right.
can do better than that. So apparently, Sean Penn, and a Spanish language telenovela actress who apparently they said Americans might also be familiar with her, helped to arrange this interview. Brought out to the jungle, met with him several days, even while he was under siege at one point during the battle with the Mexican Marines. He was still sending BlackBerry messages to Sean Penn, answering questions. No one will ever trust Ziggy, saying no one would ever trust an
interview with Sean Penn?
Perhaps not, but it's just a bizarre story, right?
Yeah, that is absolutely insane.
So crazy.
I would
just was
never have thought that.
Yeah, so weird.
His wife is pretty gorgeous, though.
El Chapo?
Emma Cornell Asporizo. So,
Yeah. Sean Penn, El Chapo. Such
it
a
is.
fascinating story. Another celebrity story, which I totally find fascinating, is have you heard one of the online campaigns to name one of the new elements? There's about 5 or 6 elements that need names.
Yeah, because it's heavy metal.
Yeah, so apparently the running thing has been to name elements either after a scientist or a place that it was discovered. There's some usually a ruling convention on how to name new elements.
Right.
But people there's been a movement to push it, to name it after the Lemmy, the guitarist, lead singer of Motorhead, who recently passed away of cancer. They want to name it Lemium. And they're like, yeah, it may not be metal, but it's the heaviest element in the universe. Name it Lemium. That's awesome.
Oh, God.
Do it. I want to see Lemium on my periodic table.
Yeah, well, the whole 7th row is full. The whole 7th row is full. Yeah. I mean, isn't that a big deal for you? The whole 7th row is full?
It's like I'm gonna have to redo the periodic table tattoo I have on my back is gonna be.
Seriously.
It's out of date.
I actually had a periodic picnic table. It was hilarious.
Did you?
No. But I had a picture of one.
Oh, periodic picnic
Picnic
table.
table. Okay, speaking of anyone peach? Do you peach? Are you familiar with this peach thing?
Is that to eat peaches?
No, Peach is a new app that is all the rage. It's another one of those social media apps that will probably not succeed, but everyone's all excited about it. So
I don't know anything about it.
All right, then we'll leave it just as that.
Oh, you're not going to tell?
I don't know
what
anything
Peach
about
says?
it. I haven't done anything.
This
I
was
just heard things about it. Michelle, have you heard anything about Peach?
I saw that she was jumping back into the call, maybe because she actually knows what Peach is.
Maybe.
And us Luddites.
All right.
don't
Well,
know.
we'll go on to the next piece of ridiculousness. So I browse a site from Southern California from time to time just for ridiculousness, and apparently there's a story on there today for Jesus Take the Wheel. There was 2 teenagers in Tennessee that were sitting on opposite sides of their pickup truck, and the boy who was driving said, "Jesus, take the wheel." And so he let go of the thing. They both closed their eyes, and they got into a collision with a pole at 85 miles an hour. The pole went straight through the middle of the truck and split the 2 of them, but both of them are alive and okay, other than some bumps and bruises and such. And they say it's because Jesus took the wheel. And all I can say is Jesus.
For our foreign viewers out there, because we do have quite a few who hop in every now and then, this is all in reference to, there was a song by Carrie Underwood? I don't know.
Maybe.
One of the not Kelly Clarkson, I think it's Carrie Underwood, an American Idol winner.
Carrie Underwood.
And the song was titled "Jesus Take the Wheel," and the idea being, it was both. You think it's metaphorical of I'm not in control of my life, so I'm asking Jesus to take the wheel. Although the lyrics of the song, she's kind of in a car spin, and she quite literally. So it's both metaphorical, but also quite literal.
Right.
And in which situation the joke, most sane people, or I shouldn't say sane people, more non-country, non-evangelical people were like, no, instead of saying Jesus take the wheel, maybe you should turn into that slide and regain traction. Remember,
Maybe you should follow the laws of physics.
Stop, instead of remembering the lessons from Pastor Bill, maybe you should remember the lessons from your driver's ed instructor. And then thank Jesus for your driver's ed instructor.
That's right.
So that's so apparently these people literally let Jesus take the wheel and are now online about it. Lovely.
So today is 110, and I don't know what happened today.
The 10th of January. This is usually where Michelle chimes in and drops knowledge on us, but unfortunately,
Okay, so we'll add that in post editing.
She just gave me a check a day. Today is the baptism of the Lord. it gets better. It's Houseplant Appreciation Day. National Cut Your Energy Cost Day. That sucks.
National Bittersweet Chocolate Day.
Tomorrow's
Save
National
the Eagles
Hot Toddy
Day.
Day.
Where's Hot Toddy?
That's tomorrow.
What?
Oh, so it's National Step in a Puddle and Splash Your Friend Day. It's actually raining today, so maybe I can go ahead and do that today.
It's rainy here too.
That's great. That's
insanity.
Yesterday was Balloon Ascension Day. What is today? Balloon Descension Day, or is that later in the week? Wah 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 wah.
All right, and we've I lost our pro studio that tells us what our topics are.
Oh no!
So do you have anything else you wanted to do?
Yeah, I had. Oh, did you kill this? Because I had. There was something else after today. There was I had my ass hat. Oh,
right.
Ziggy's helping us out. She's saying ass
hat was
hat.
ham.
Ham. Okay, so wow, this is just total internet meme day. So there was, I don't know if you saw that there was this, and I'll put it in the green room. There was this picture going around on the interwebs of a dog that had been burned in a fire, severely burned in a fire, by saving their owners or something, and so it's been circulated around. It's oh, look at this poor dog. It's been, its face is severely burned, and it had done this saving people. The reality was, and later was revealed, this was not a dog who was a burn victim, but was rather a dog with a piece of ham on his face. So, just going to show that the internet is full of idiots, and I should admit, we all occasionally do fall to.
Yes.
Every one of us here.
Yes.
Even those of us who try to like make sure we Snopes everything.
Right.
If you read in one page, make sure it appears in 2 different articles that aren't cross-referenced also.
That's
also,
right.
this is the same thing. If you read a crazy story from overseas and you see it written up in another page, but it's the exact same word for word, and that's all you can find, it may not be true. You want
May
to find
not.
Multiple authors writing on the
Probably
same thing.
won't be true.
So we all fall
Victim to this at times
to this.
because sometimes it's very good. We had did I tell you about the attempt of theft that came in through our email? There's apparently a big thing for CEO email for CEOs getting attempting to author an email to their controller because both the CEO's name and their controller is publicly available tax data. So if someone can figure out your naming structure of email addresses at your company, they can emulate the CEO and author an email to the controller of the company, who's the one who writes checks, and says, I need you to wire money to this account for this particular thing. And really, if somebody spends 15 minutes figuring all this stuff out, that's about right. And then they author this email to send money. And it seems fairly legitimate to somebody who's not tech savvy.
Right.
And we
Yeah,
had
sure.
one of these at our company, and now it's this big internet thing that everybody's talking about, how somebody's doing that. And it was pretty damn good, to be honest with you. It really was pretty damn good. They did a pretty good job of faking it. But effectively, you just got some Yahoo finding publicly available information and spoofing the CEO and telling their secretary to wire money to somebody. If you wire the money, it's gone. You're done.
Nicely done. Michelle asked a question in the green room, asking if any of us watch these the whole intellectual murder porn that's been going on right now, such as Making of a Murderer, the Serial podcast, or what's the other one? That's there's a third one. Shoot. Yeah, there's a third one.
We are rusty. We haven't done this in a while.
Are you questioning me, saying like calling it murder porn? It is.
No,
kind
she
of,
just doesn't know what it is.
Okay, so no, I have not listened to any of them nor watched them. Jeff?
I have not. The Serial podcast, I've never truly been a fan of. I can't really get into the there's a certain pace that they do in Serial that just doesn't match what I normally do whenever I listen to stuff. So I might look up Making a Murderer.
I'm not saying it's biased, Michelle. No, I'm saying I shouldn't say porn. It's more of the because actually I want to hear it later. The host of Serial, because Michelle just chimed in and said Serial is unbiased. I was not implying that, or I was hoping I wasn't implying that Serial is biased because I've never watched it or listened to it, I should say. But one of the interesting things, and I want to listen to it later, is I can't remember what news program she's going to be on NPR, but the host of Serial. They did a little prompt for her this morning. I was listening, and one of the things she asked about was like her having to deal with, the ethics of you realizing that for some people, because Serial became so popular, people were binge listening to episodes, like loading them up and getting in the car and driving on road trips listening to Serial, and so then suddenly it bled into that. It's journalism that's suddenly crossing into the realm of entertainment, to where suddenly on some level people have to be like, wait, but this is real. This isn't. I'm starting to lose. There's that potential of losing. And she was saying, where's my responsibility in, making sure that I don't.
War of the Worlds, this thing.
Or the obverse of that, where suddenly I'm doing it stylistically in a way that's so entertaining to the viewer that suddenly it's losing or it's the fact that its reality is being slipped out of people's hands potentially.
Oh, okay, got it. So then it becomes a story and doesn't become an account of events.
Right. Yeah.
Sarah Koenig.
Thank you.
Koenig.
I don't know the name of the show that she's going to be on today or tonight, but yeah, you're behind us on Michelle. No, I was saying the reverse. as Jeff was understanding, the reverse of War of the Worlds.
Right,
where,
but isn't that the play that they're futzing with here? Right? Is that which one's a story and which one is an account of events?
right, and so
Right.
that's why I want to listen to this, because it sounds like it's going to be interesting. Where she herself, the host of this series, is kind of like recognizing
Right.
as a journalist, where does my responsibility lie in both providing something that's engaging, but at the same time isn't engaging to the point of potentially losing.
The power of the reality.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's a fascinating, especially now in this age of, Vice is going to have their own channel. They're moving. I have the husband of a former coworker is a video editor for Vice magazine, and so like he's been working on their channel. They've had this very successful program on HBO, and so now apparently Vice is moving towards having their own channel. And so, but they kind of at the same time in this, like they kind of, the way they approach news programs is very interesting and very engaging. But I always can't help but think of where does that become a
blend
slippery
over
slope?
happen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a risk.
It is, but that's the best thing of a proper story is you end the story and you're not sure if it's a real or not real. When somebody's telling me a story and it's just straight up a story, right? If it seems plausible enough to be real, that's the reason I like the movie The Martian. Have you seen the movie The Martian?
No.
It was plausible enough and thought out enough that you could believe it. It's not Twilight series where you got sparkly vampires and it's all fantasy stuff and it's not real. To me, I really, really enjoy the concept of getting so close to reality that you could plausibly think that really existed. Those are my favorite stories, just saying out loud.
Very nice. You ever see the movie Sunshine?
Sunshine, no.
Yeah. You might like it. I think
Yeah?
it's well done. It's a sci-fi film. It's where the sun is dying, and it's an effort to
2007?
Yeah. I kind of don't like the third act has a element added that kind of I don't think they needed to put in there to make it a tense enough film, but it's very gorgeous. It's very, it's got that great, it's probably it's a throwback to kind of 2001 type space film where it's slow moving ships because that's how you would be moving.
Right.
And, where you can't, you make a decision and that's where we're going because we can't afford to spend fuel to so I might give it a spin, man. It's and I know that they had some real scientists working on advisement for it.
Well, excellent.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us this week. All of our lovely co-hosts, all of our illustrious and wonderful, wonderful viewers out there in Viewerland. If you'd ever like to join us or join the conversation, we've put up our Twitter handles up on the thirds. Feel free to contact us through our Google Plus page. And if you ever want to be on the show, you are welcome to do so. But until we see you next time, I'm just going to say you don't have to think like me.
You don't have to think like me. And Ziggy's.
But we ask that you, as our great and illustrious fan base, and as good humans, you spend your own time to think.